everybody? We have a very interesting podcast today. We have Konishiki coming out talking about Japan life when he got here, sumo and everything else. Super interesting. So don't miss it. Right on.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. Today, not only are we joined by MMA royalty, we have sumo royalty in the house today. Konishiki, thank you so much for joining me in Enson today.
Nice to meet you guys, man. I've been watching you guys quite a while now since you guys started that your podcast stuff. So, and me and Nancy, we've been living in Japan for a while. So when we get tired of the when we got tired of the culture, we go look at each other, we grumble at each other's face, and then we back to normal, I guess. So.
Sale, I think Sale just completed his 40th year, yeah?
Wow.
Yes, actually it was exactly June I made 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I made 32 years in September this month.
It's funny. Japan kept us so busy with our lives, careers. Even after our careers, we never really stopped. So like 40 years just flew by, man. You just, when you sit and you think about your career, and then the career is okay, but you think about the people you came with and people you raised with that you have lost over the years. And that to me, it just hits the mind more than the career itself, because I think every athlete or every person that gets itself into a career, it's all about putting everything into it, depending on what era you're at. And our era is like, man, you gotta go. You either kill or get killed, and that's the kind of attitude that has been in those years. You can see that in American sports. You can see in Western sports how they play football. And guys with broken freaking fingers and broken noses, and they didn't have all the technology they have today. But it's funny how that the mindset is different, I think.
Oh, different. Yeah. Totally
different. But I enjoy the ride. I enjoy everything I did. Even though we hit some walls, I'm pretty sure listen to Enson and all his stuff and all his talks and all his career stuff. We all hit walls, man. But it's the people that actually make the choice to try to go through the wall is the ones that really last to anything, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing, and I love Japan. At the end of the day, I think I owe Japan a lot for giving me the opportunity I have now, and the way I'm accepted even more now after 40 years. And then people tell me, oh, what is great about Japan? Well, Japan, you're going to have a hard time fitting in, but once you pay your dues and you do things and you try to respect the culture and do it within their, within their rules and stuff, and make it as a foreigner, to them is like, man, this must be not a normal foreigner. You crazy. And they accept that because of how we've taken their culture and embraced it, and took whatever we can from it, and be the best we can in everything in our careers,
For you, Sale, must have been amazing, because you came from what, Nanakuli. Nanakuli, James, is like the side of
the ghetto.
The side of Oahu that us townies, like I lived in Honolulu. We say don't go there. It's dangerous there. So even till today, we don't want to drive into Nanakuli, Waianae. Like, it's dangerous. And like me, I grew up in a place where I had a big Japanese influence, because we had a lot of Japanese Americans. But he didn't. He came from like the west side of Oahu, straight into Japan. For me, someone who has a big Japanese background, of course, it's not exactly like the Japanese, because we're Japanese American. I'm fourth generation, but even for me, with the background of Japanese and my parents still holding on to a lot of the values, I had a hard time adjusting to the culture, but for Sale, I can imagine how hard that must have been to fit in, not only Japan, but into the sumo world, which is like 10 times crazier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so when did you first come to Japan, Sale?
I left Hawaii in 1982.
Wow.
That's the year
1982
you graduated.
on June 18th, right after graduation, bro. Like I
Right. Straight
graduated
out.
mid
Wow.
30th graduation right out of school,
Yeah.
and then I left on the 18th, and I got here on the 19th
Didn't you
on
have
June.
scholarships to go to play football in the States?
My schooling, I was actually going to school to learn to get into pre-law.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
I wasn't planning to play football at all. I
Oh,
was more concentrating on music. I wanted to be Beretta, bro, FBI and Kojak, and it was too much police movies those days, those dramas. We grew up on
Beretta with
those things. Yeah, Colombo, and all that stuff. You might be too young, you might know, but those days they had all kind of police kind of drama on TV, and
Starsky
grew
and
up watching
Hutch, Beretta. Yeah.
SWAT.
Just before
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah, so yeah, I came in 82, so like I said, this year is the 40th year I've been here in Japan. So
Yeah. And so what for you, Sally, what was the biggest thing? What was the first culture shock, right? There's so many, right? But the first one that sort of hits you off the plane, what's the first thing you remember noticing?
well, the thing is, I had no knowledge of Japan.
Wow.
My closest thing knowledge to Japan was I thought Japan was China because all the Bruce Lee movies I watched, like every American, typical American, if you go to the States and you tell oh, I come from Japan, they were they think that's
Yeah.
kung fu. There's a
Yeah.
difference between kung fu. It's karate, right? That's the same thing I thought because I watched all these freaking Bruce Lee movies growing up. He's like my idol, and then I watched some Japanese movies which I thought wasn't Japanese. I thought ninja was Chinese. All that martial art thing. So when I came, the biggest shock was, oh my God, they got McDonald's over here. McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. They got. I saw that. I go, oh brother, I think I can last. Maybe I got some stuff that I know over here. But I had no knowledge of sumo at all. Like I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into, and that's was the biggest shock. I think, wow, freaking Japan is up there. It's compared to Hawaii. It's big city, and nobody came to pick me up at the Narita. I had no money on me when I came to Japan.
Wow.
When I got off the plane, the guys from Hawaii was on the plane with me. I was telling them, oh, how do you get out, uncle? And I was 18, right? So I'm everybody's uncle, auntie in Hawaii. That's how we address our old elders. And what you doing here, boy? I go, I'm gonna be sumo. Oh, what you need? How do you get out? How do you get out, uncle? Oh, you gotta get a ticket over there, and then you gotta go out. Those days you had to pay tax at the airport. They used to buy these tickets. It's like in dollars, about $20. It's 2,000 yen.
What?
Yeah.
Remember that, Henson? Every time
Yeah, I
you go
remember that.
you gotta
In
buy
and
the
out, you had
ticket.
to pay tax.
Yeah, so you had to pay this 20. I didn't have one penny on me when I went to Hawaii and had no luggage. I had a shoulder bag. I told my parents I don't need nothing. All I brought with me is a slacks. I thought I was gonna wear them when I got on the plane. I had a slacks, a lower shirt, and shoes. And then when I left the day before I left, my mom made me a pareo with the word Samoa on it. And on the morning that we was going to the airport, they stopped in Waipahu and bought a shirt that says Samoa on it. So if you look at my first pictures coming to, I'm wearing a pareo, slippers, and I have a t-shirt that says Samoa, and I have a shoulder bag that only has my picture album, my Bible, my shoes, one pair of shoes. What else I had? My slacks and a lower shirt. These all I had and one underwear, bro.
That's amazing.
I had not even a penny to my name when I came. So nobody came to pick me up in Narita. I got my way out of Narita. And then when I got out of the airport, I didn't know how to get to Tokyo. And then again, you have to pay the limousine bus like 3,000 yen or something like that. Again,
Yeah, yeah.
the guys were from Hawaii was on the plane with me. They paid for me to get on a plane on a Boston. I came to Tokyo.
Wow. And then you get to Tokyo, right? Like, I mean, that's a head fuck in itself in terms of like where to go next.
It's
So
a head twister, bro. Because
yeah,
my image was like people jumping from roof to roof, ninja style. You know what I mean? I still was, that's how much I knew about Japan at all. I didn't know
yeah.
shit about Japan. And to come here and to find out, bro, there's Toyotas over here, there's Datsuns over here, there are all the cars that the Sony Walkman is from here. I didn't know that stuff growing up, bro. That's how uneducated I was about Asia.
Yeah. Well, no internet then back then, right? As well, right? Is what you're reading in books. So it's
Yeah, but
completely
it's the
different time.
image too, because I grew up watching movies and stuff. And there was a theater in Nanakuli where I'm from, was run by a buddy Niseo Sunset Japanese man named James Aki. He was actually a principal in the elementary school I went to when I was younger. So he used to show movies, which was samurai, but I didn't know at the time that was Japanese. I thought it was Chinese too. Anything martial art, I thought was Chinese. So, Enson, the funny thing is, one of my best actors those days was this blind swordman, Zatoichi.
Oh
Satuichi, yeah.
yeah.
Well, he used to show those movies freaking every Sunday, all the old movies. And then I knew Zatoichi, but I thought he was Chinese. He's the he's the first celebrity I met in Japan.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you
And-
met Satuichi.
Yeah, was by accident too. I already made it up to the top rank, and I was invited to a party, and he was there, and he was asking me, "Oh, you must be that kid from Hawaii that you do sumo now, Konishiki." And then, yeah, I just got here. I never speak too much Japanese. I want to take you out. He wanted to take me to Ginza,
Wow.
but I was still young. I was high rank, but my skibito, my servants, my apprentice guys was like, no, you cannot go. You cannot go. Because they said this guy has a bad reputation when he go out drink. You might get in trouble. So I didn't go, but that was the first time I met. That's the first celebrity I met.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow, Satuichi. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Zatoichi. I'm glad I met him. Funny, that's the first guy I met, bro. Celebrity.
Yeah. James, Solly in his career, you should the people he's met. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I've seen some of them.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Everyone from Michael Jordan to Michael Jackson, right?
To Lady Diana and Prince Charles.
Wow. From my side of the woods.
I hosted them when they came. I just hosted Stephen Curry,
Yeah, I saw.
a couple
That's
days ago.
on Instagram.
Who
I
that?
don't know.
Big NBA
So
player.
he's a number one basketball player.
She got to meet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Sushi the video. Oh.
So I've met so much people, it's crazy. But it's the thing is, I was explaining to my Musashi Maru's boys. You guys don't realize, sumo is like a symbol to the foreigner people. All the foreigners that come to Japan, everybody wants to go to sumo.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to sumo, and that's the reason why we got in touch. Because I don't know, they always get in touch because people know people that I know. Then they call me, or they want some sumo wrestlers to come and watch practice. How can we get some boys to come? Of course, these kids, they all know basketball. They all know, they'll be more than happy to go, right?
Mhm.
So the players are more excited to see the sumo wrestlers than the kids themselves. The kids, they hold back, but they're so excited to see. The look is, I was playing one of the assistants of, I think it was the Wizards. I don't care how popular a guy can get or how big a name can get in any sport. Sumo is just different. There's nowhere else in the world you can get sumo. And the way we carry ourselves in public is the way our life is. We don't have a second face. What you see is what you get. And the lifestyle we live, the way we dress, our hairdos, we have to be at the best behavior everywhere we go because we represent what we wear on our heads. And that's why everybody's so like well behaved and well mannered when out in public. And they see that and they freak out at we don't make millions and millions of dollars. But the thing is, once you get to that certain rank, so much pride because not everybody can get there. I was telling the last 7,000 sumo wrestlers that came to last 7,000 men that came to sumo, less than 1% has made it up to the ranks. Think about it. 7,000 now.
It's
So
a real exclusive club,
weren't
right?
you like the fastest one to make it up to the ranks?
I still hold a record to being the fastest from the bottom, very bottom, went up in 8 tournaments, which is less than a year and a half.
Wow.
And still hold a record for being the fastest from the bottom to make it to Sekiwake, junior champion. Took me 14 tournaments, a little over 2 years.
And you
I
were
heard,
the first. I was gonna say you
I
were the
heard,
first foreigner to become Ozeki, right?
yeah, the first
Yes,
foreigner.
yeah, that's one of the things I'm proud of. I'm glad I got there, the way I did. But
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of explaining about my career because now I think it's time to hear the real story. I've been coming up with my book too, but people don't know, like, they made me work for get to that Ozeki position. Because if they go by numbers, they know they kind of held things back. And then the last tournament that they ever did at the old stadium, because I started at the old stadium, not the stadium we have today, which is Kuramai Kogekan. Only my second tournament as a top ranker, I was, I think I was number 6, no, lower than that or something. And because I kept on winning from that position, they were throwing all the big guys to me, which is not
Wow.
normal. That's what I was trying to say. It
Yeah.
wasn't normal for them to throw me certain, like, they were throwing me the champions. They throw me 2 grand champions, I beat them. They throw me a champion, I beat them. They throw me a junior champion, I beat them. And just the freaking last day, I lose to one of the champions. And the guy who won the tournament is higher ranked. I was number 8, and he was number 6. And he never only wrestled more than 1 champion. And the thing is, if you go back, Anthony, it's funny because if you go back the history of that one tournament, they don't really show it as much. But the last ceremony, the last guys where they come up, the last day, 15 days.
Yeah.
In sumo, the last 15 days, you actually challenge your own rank, but east and west. So the yokozuna from east, west can always challenge the last day, or the ozeki from east and west can challenge, or sekioi. That's how it's made. So when I got to that tournament, we actually had 2 yokozunas. We had 2 yokozuna. We had like 3 ozekis, 2 sekiwakis. There's no way I should have been in there. I was number 8 or number 6 or something, doing that ceremony. Even to this day, like, I talk about it, and that's the first time in sumo history that they screwed up I screwed up the whole thing because I didn't know where to stand. It's like 1 person in the front, 2 person in the back, and they do the squat ceremony. So I didn't know. Nobody would told me what to do. That's the first time I'm doing it. So I go up and I go to my left. Instead of Hokkenu and Takano Sato, instead of Hokkenu tell me to move me in the middle and tell me where to go, he went on the other side too. So we actually did the opposite of what we're supposed to do. The ceremony.
Wow.
Because nobody told me. I didn't know I had to do that.
That's crazy.
Hey, didn't they because you're so dominant, didn't they change the rules where you have to touch 2 hands on the sand?
Exactly.
They changed it because he was so dominant. They didn't like that he was winning everything.
Wow. That rule came.
Put 1 hand.
That rule came after. That rule came after because it's harder for a bigger guy to go down, squat down. I can get down, but when you attack, your momentum goes up before you go back down. So that's the disadvantage of a big guy. So as I went out, I studied how the best way to do it. All I did is move back. I used to come up to the rope, to the line, but I found that it was like more like the speed. I couldn't. Out in the top division, they're so fast, and they get under me because when I hit my hands, I tend to come like this before I go back down. So it's this kind of movement. But this one damage, like boom, straight out. So that's that split second is a disadvantage for me.
So they made him. He had to go a little lower now because he had to touch 2 hands.
Yeah, and they changed the whole rules then.
Yeah,
but even with the rules, even with the rules, I got used to it. So I started kicking ass anyway. So it's just adjustment, I think, because it made you come up slower for a big guy like me. Smaller guys easy. They can accelerate just from that stance right there. But for me, because of my stomach, the stomach actually is pressured, like pushing down on my belly. So naturally, when I touch, it's just a little moving, but that's enough to get under. They get under you.
A split second, man. The sumo is
Yeah.
such an explosive sport. It's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
split
the touchy eye, man. The touchy eye is people don't really realize, but these big boys, they're moving, man.
Yeah, definitely. I actually
Even
got into it during COVID because there was like no other sports, right? And then that's when I started, watching more tournaments, and you really get into it. When you watch the tournament from start to finish, right? That's you get into the stories within in there. The thing is funny actually because the thing that confused me the most was the matchmaking around how they how they make the matches as the tournament goes on, and it's kind of
Well,
interesting
the
what you
thing
just said
is,
there.
there's the top division. There's only 60 of them.
Mhm.
The top two division, in fact, there's only 60 of them. So what it is East and West. They have number 1 to number 13. Again, number 1 to number 13 on both sides. Then you have your Komosubi, which is the runner-up, and then you have the junior champion, which is Sekiwake. Then you have Ozeki and Yokozuna.
Mhm.
So within that ranks, at the beginning of the tournament, you kind of the bottom, maybe from the 6 on down, they kind of wrestle each other until they start winning and they throw them Ozeki or Sekiwake, or even if they win very much, then they throw them to Yokozuna before the 10th day. Before the 10th day, because from the 10th day on, it's supposed to be more like during my time was only like Ozeki's against Sekiwa's against
yeah,
Ozeki Yokozuna's. That
yeah.
yeah, so that the last 10 days is the most crucial because these guys mostly those years when I was doing, nobody below Sekiwake won tournaments at all, really. So the battle was always at the last 5 days. If you make it through the 10 day without losing, your chance of making it even harder because the last 5 days is when you get all the heavy hitters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
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 When Sale was wrestling, had two other Hawaii guys, yeah, Akebono and Musashi Maru. And
Mm.
at that time, even before I came to Japan, on NHK, we used to watch sumo all the time and
Mm.
always cheer for them. So I got so into it that I knew all like Mai no Umi, Koto no Waka, Hoto
Mm.
Hokutomi. I knew all the names of all the sumo guys. That's why
Yeah.
when I came to Japan, Sally would always invite me to go to come. They would have this thing called the Jungyo where they'd go to a town and do like
Sure.
exhibitions. And so he'd invite me to come check it out. We used to go check it out. And then all those guys I saw on TV were in the area. And I pretty much got to meet a lot of the guys I saw on TV. It was super cool, man.
Mm. Yeah, you came right when that era that era was Chad and Musashi Maru's era when they just came. So I think did you catch that other Samoan kid that was in Sumo Nankai Ryu Kili? The one was in my stable. Did already he
No,
was gone already.
I came up after that.
Oh, you should be happy. He would have been your good friend, and you would have get in trouble because of him. He was,
Oh,
hey, and if this kid was so tough, he's from Western Samoa. Two of them came, and they did real good. But the only problem is he was anytime you give him he drink, bro. He cannot stop drinking. But
oh,
you
wow.
know these guys are made on the island. They're so freaking tough. Even how drunk he can be, he trains. I train his ass. I mean I beat the shit out of him every when he gets. And I'm the only guy that he's scared of because big brother, right? And this guy when he drunk at night, he makes so much trouble, and everybody's like panicking. And bro, I have to go knock him out, bro. I just knock him out. Then I bring him home. That's how. But Ants, this boy was a solid. I can tell you, he was like 340, not a
Whoa.
fat in his body. After you look for him, he's Nankaido, his sumo name. He's pure
Oh,
Samoan, but they wanted to join sumo, so I got them to be my son. Him and the other boy. The other boy was Maji man, like he was real Christian. One day he cried to me, and he was already an idea Makusta, like he would have made it too, but he goes, I'm so sorry, but my life, I grew up religious, and I don't think my parents would accept what I've been doing. I've been fooling around with girls. I've been drinking. I mean, and I look at it, whatever, whatever you think is right for you, just do, man. I'll make sure you get what you need and what you want. So he left. He went become and be a preacher. He has a big church in Australia. The other one
Oh,
went and he just got in trouble. He just racked up cars or something like that. I haven't seen him since. But the other boy, I stay in touch with him. He has his own congregational church in Australia, Sydney. It was funny.
Nice.
wow.
Yeah, but yeah,
So you kind of touched on it, Sale, about sort of like the initiations, right? Sumo seems like a really hard world to crack and get into. I mean, what was it like for you coming into this world as a foreigner? Was there times you felt like you were going to quit, or was it never? Was that never an option?
nah, quitting was never in my crossing my mind. Number one, even if I wanted to quit, I wasn't in a position to quit because there's no way I could get out of Japan. My passport was taken away. I had no
Wow.
money. So, and then at the end of the day, I the way I came to Japan with my parents against me coming, I couldn't go back. My parents, they didn't even know like a week before I came. I told them I'm going to Japan, and
Nice.
they say, my mom go, Japan? What the hell is Japan? I don't know what Japan is, but I'm going to Japan. And she goes, what the hell are you going to Japan for? I go, I will be a sumo wrestler. And she goes, what the hell is sumo? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to find out when I get there. My mom has bad mouth. She started swearing at me and, what the hell are you doing, you dumb kid? That's how I started my career. So, for me, I love my parents so much. I told myself, no freaking way I'm going to leave this place. I'm going to have to
Mm,
freaking probably fall out and get hit by a car and die by accident. If I'm not going to make them, I probably go freaking, there's no way I would go home. I would just stick it out. So I think the thing, like, I kind of gonna jump to like the reason why I'm writing my book. I'm not writing about what I've accomplished in sumo. I'm trying to find out what this 18-year, what made me do the things I did at 18, so I can relate to other 18 years olds who start adulthood or start their careers outside of their families when they become, individually. What do you say? You just have to do everything on your own, right? Independent. The word independent. So my book is more about, because you can go Wikipedia, you can find out what I did and what I did in my career, but you don't know the emotions and stuff I did outside of sumo to kind of balance and focus and stay on the path, because all the distraction is the stuff's going to take a little away from what you can put into your career. So that's the stuff I'm trying to write in my book. So even till this day, though, I don't know what the hell this 18-year-old me was thinking, because I had no information, bro. And like I said, I only came with a bag, and the only reason why I came is because they told me it was free. I told them, as long as I don't burden my family, I'm coming. And you pay for my ticket, and I have a place to lay my head going, and that's all it was. And that's what made me come to Japan. But I guess the turning point, or the thing that hit me hard when we got to port, and my mom pulled on my shirt, and even till this day, I always think about when I think I'm struggling, I just think about the day she pulled on my shirt and started crying. Because the day I told my mom a week before I left to come to Japan, not one word she spoke to me. She never speak one word. That was the first and the last word she said to me at the airport when she pulled my shirt. Said, "Don't go." And here's me acting like real big boy, laughing
yeah.
and trying to joke. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm gonna do him. I'm gonna do him. I'm gonna do him. Don't worry. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna this. But in my gut, I was like so scared, not knowing what I'm putting myself in. And once I said bye, I make sure I smiled. I make sure I look freaking. I get him. And I walked in the plane. And that's the only plane ride deal to this day. I don't even remember what happened in the plane. All I know, I remember just dropping on the chair, and I just went like that, and I started crying. And then the only thing I could remember is I got up and I was in Japan.
Wow.
Like that's how like the pressure started, like, and that's when I knew, bro, ain't no way you gonna go home. Like, said, nah, I cannot handle. I go home, bro. And
Yeah.
that's where the punchline of me just telling myself, bro. And that's when I knew the culture is gonna, the whole thing about what I put myself is all different. So the thing I put in my money, but just open up. Whatever they give you, do it. Whatever they throw at you, accept it. And I think that's what helped me a lot. And that's the same advice I always tell guys. They come in, bro. You just have to accept whatever comes to you at the time. There's nothing you can really do until you get some until you sit some clot and you make some, you kind of prove yourself little by little. Then and then you can start making changes. But at the time being, you gotta accept everything that comes your way, man, and do the best with it. So that's why my mindset changed
Mhm.
already. I couldn't. I don't. It's funny because that's when I started. I don't feel no pain, like at all. Like I would get up in the morning, even the way some bully guys who bullied me early in my career, they actually made me better. I tell a story. You know, they kind of motivated me than anything else because by sumo everything is seniority. So the whole day, 24/7, I'm always under somebody. I mean, if somebody tell me there's something to do, I have to do. They can come and step on me in the middle of the night, go buy me soda from them, and I gotta go. And I knew that. So, but the only thing that read me from all that stuff is when we stepped in the ring, in Japanese they said byodo. Byodo means everybody's the same. I knew I could kill these guys. And all I seen in my brain is like, bro, if I kill these guys legally in the ring, I'm good because it's legal. And that motivated me every day. Everybody would come down like 5 o'clock, 5:30. Bro, I used to be in the ring by myself, like 4 o'clock in the morning, every day. Before anybody got there, I was freaking fully sweat already. And even now when I hang out with my senpai guys at the restaurant, and them, bro, you freaking guy, at the first 2 3 years, after you got used to practice, we were so he said my eyes was all red. I look like a freaking boo, like what's red, like shot red. I thought, what the fuck you think? I hardly slept, shit. I couldn't even sleep. I was so fucking hungry. I wanted to like not even sleep. I just go down there and wait for everybody and chop these down one by one. And I actually, one guy who treated me like shit, I put him in the hospital, bro. I put him in the hospital. And don't screw around with the country boy. Like you said, West Side, bro. We know dirty tricks, bro. I know dirty tricks. So this one guy who treated, this is the one with a beer bottle when I just joined. Freaking only second month, he hitting me a beer bottle already. So I go, oh, sumimasen, go done this. I did, thank you. I thought, bro, I killing you practice, bro. So one day he's a tall guy, right? So I pop him so hard, and then I lift him and I throw him to the ground. And while he was falling down, I didn't have to fall down, but I knew if I fall in, I just elbow right in the middle of his chest and boom, he stopped
Oh,
breathing. They had to emergency him to the ambulance came practice and took him. So people started catching on to my trick, bro. So we had a pipe in the corner of our sumo stable where we put water. Anybody who fuck with me, bro, I used to like aim purposely, move them towards it so I could slam them in the pipe, bro. You know,
That's
I was to
awesome.
myself, guys. I was looking at myself, bro. I look at myself in the mirror. I tell myself, freaking guy, you nasty, you
Yeah.
nasty. I thought, bro, can I help? I talk to myself. I go, can I help, bro? These guys treat me like shit, and it's the only place I can get back to them, and the only
Yeah.
place I'm gonna get respect is pound, 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 pound.
you know what's crazy, James, is this in the sumo world. There's a higher ups and the lower.
Mhm.
So the guys who are lower, they're gonna have to serve the higher up guys with no
Yeah,
complaint. Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime, anything. But the interesting
nobody
thing with the
complains.
sumo world is they go by like in the fighting world. Even if this guy gets better than me, I'm always the higher up because I
Mhm.
started longer. I'm older. But what's interesting in sumo is if Sale gets the higher rank than the guy he was serving, now this guy got to serve him.
Oh wow. That
Exactly,
is-
Real.
exactly.
So they all came back
Exactly.
round then.
And so they went shoot straight up to the high ranks. So that
Damn.
must have been, I mean, that must have been a crazy situation for you, yeah?
Well, the thing is funny you said it because all these guys who was treating me like they saw me coming, bro. Because even only my 6 months into sumo, I was already beating more than half of the stable, and these guys are like all experienced now. You got to think most of these guys got sumo background, and I was kicking butt. So all the guys who are like Ijiwaru, all the guys who bully guys, they knew something was coming, and they were all making sure they weren't treating me bad anymore after
Oh, no
practice. The
shit.
guys, it's funny. All these guys who never treated me to anything, they would ask me to go. They take me out to lunch. They take me out to dinner.
Those
And so
fuckers.
yeah, bro. So yeah, and then the guys who treated me like shit is the ones wiping my feet when I'm stepping out of the shower room.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
that's what they do,
You know,
brother. Yeah, when you have servants, they wash you down everything. They shave you, they wash your hair. And when I come out of the shower room, all I do is stick my leg out. They grab my feet and they wipe my feet, make sure in between the toes is all dry.
I bet you missed that now, right?
Nah, I don't miss it. I'm not used to that shit. All my boys, even Anson, he meet a lot of them. They even till it is, they're like my younger brothers, and they tell stories about, bro. He was Konishiki. I was different because I never treat them like that. I just when tournaments and stuff, there's the only time I'm uptight because of tournaments. But after that, they always use me as a runaway place because if they don't, they can use my name. I tell you, anytime you guys gotta get away from a senior guy, just tell them you guys gonna go with Konishiki, okay? So they used to use my name, and then I tell them if I'm not home and you guys use my name, just go hide in my room. They would go in the room and lock the room, which is normally they wouldn't. Oh, nobody would do that in sumo. I was more like
Yeah.
trying to take care of my brotherhood. My boys, my young kids, all these guys. They're young now, bro. Yeah, like 15, 18, and some of these guys treat them like I don't know what it is. And yeah, answer the Japanese. I don't know. How do you say it? They like really like mean, man. When they want to hit somebody, like, bro, they like beat up the kids, man.
Yeah, yeah. But it's weird how the generation has changed. Where now they're real soft. Like even James, when Tsuyoshi left sumo,
Mhm.
it was because he did something that almost all sumo throughout the whole sumo stables happens, where the younger guy screws something up, they slap him around or beat him up or whatever. But Tsuyoshi got kicked out of sumo because what he did was pretty much
Because of that.
something that was back in the day a norm in sumo. So it's like
Yeah.
the kids are getting softer. It's like there's a lot of changes going in the world, even for fighting.
Mhm.
Yeah, but Anson, that's not because of people are really getting not yeah, they're getting soft, but at the same time, with the new freaking technology they have, they find proof and then now they take it to the parents and the word
Ah,
bully, bro. I tell these guys, all these Japanese media guys, they talk to me. Somebody's like, bro, I tell them, I go, fuck you guys. You guys don't want to report on all the college shit. The college is the worst one. The college is the worst bullying you can find. Go and research. Because there's some mean ass bullying in college, bro. You think sumo is controlled because we have, senior guys who actually are good guys. So the thing is, you're in a house with a bunch of guys. There's probably 3 or 4 a-holes in the group who treats some of the guys really bad. And they're probably not even the tough guys. They're probably the guys who just want to take authority to say it because of the years they've been in sumo, and they just take advantage of that. But be honest with you, man. And I always tell the kids, bro, the only way you can get back is you gotta kick butt, bro. Sumo is good because you can get back to them and just do it in the ring. But some of them, even some of the kids, so scared of them, even doing practice because they know if they don't beat them by rank or even get it way up there after practice, they stay lower than them. I mean, the senior guy is always going to tell them what to do.
Yeah, it's such a unique system, right?
That's unreal.
So, what do you think your biggest takeaway is from sumo? Because Enson, we've talked on the podcast with Enson about some of the biggest takeaways he's had in fighting and how that sort of actually shaped like his later life. Like, is there things, aspects from sumo that you brought to like all the different activities you've done outside of your sumo career?
Sumo has prepared me more for society better than a lot of people in society themselves. Like,
Wow.
because of the caliber of people we meet. We meet people from the highest politicians to the biggest corporate people. And the one thing about sumo that I talk about a lot in my speeches, when I do speeches, is the ability to these kids not only tough mentally, physically they are young enough when they join sumo at 15 and retired at 25 after 10 years. These kids know how to work hard. Like, they've been through sumo for 10 years. And a lot of them, they take that into their new lives. And the majority of them, I can tell you, they never made it to the top of sumo. But I can give you a list of that are very successful. I know guys who were not even to the third, fourth rank that are now like big business owners and like scouting for scrap. And the reason for that is because once you go through that kind of sumo career, 10 years or more, you don't need to sleep because you're tough enough to work. You don't need any big house. You just sleeping anywhere because we sleep on tours and anywhere. And then they know how to work and they know how to shut up. They're just going to work. They know how to be directed, and because that's not the kind of life they is. So the ones that focus on that are very successful in their careers after sumo. You know what I mean? And then a good example, I have a senpai who is in Kagoshima. He only went up to the second level, Jody Nang. He actually owns two big hotels in Amami. He has one of the biggest restaurants in Kagoshima. He has a cigar bar, a wine bar. He has a shabu shabu high-end restaurant. And he was only Jody Nang. So what I'm trying to say is they know how to work. And work hard is something that you take from sumo into the. So I tell the kids that the one thing you're gonna take is the respect. Everybody know how to respect, know how to speak, know how to carry themselves in public because we teach in sumo.
Yeah.
We teach them to be great men when they leave, and that's why we was talking about the earlier part when they wanted sumo wrestlers to come. They're so surprised at how well behaved they are at that age, and very respectful. Not only by the way they look, but the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they stand and watch. They don't make sure that they don't get in people's ways. And that's the stuff that sumo teaches so good that even after sumo, the guys that I hang out, I talk to, and we work together, some ex sumo guys, they all got pride in sumo, and the ones that really take pride in sumo after sumo are the ones really making sumo look good, and people respect that. So that's the thing I take away from sumo is I've learned how to interact with high ranking peoples, like the way I talk to them, the way you make phone calls after you always every time you go out with somebody, you make sure you call the next day, you thank them. The other thing we do in sumo is when you actually come to a dinner or whatever, you're never late, you're like 30-40 minutes early. All my gaijin friends, all the corporate foreign guys, they always laugh to say, yeah, Konishiki gonna be there before everybody. Yep, because I'm used to it. I make sure I'm there before anybody. And the thing in sumo is that's to show respect to the people that are inviting you to dinner, or you invite people to dinner. It's you that have to show that respect. So in sumo, when the boss tell us we gotta be at some place, everybody at that place standing outside waiting for the boss. It's kind of yakuza kind of style, right? But that's the respect. And even the yakuza were they're kind of similar. It's all these guys that go to hardship, and the guys that actually break away and do business, they are actually become real great businessmen because the discipline you need to
That's
to
interesting.
focus on what you're doing is so important. There's two different worlds, but the discipline is the same. You have to be super disciplined, or that world you get killed. And they're going to take you and tell you, oh, we're going to take you shabu shabu, but you take you in the back and put you in freaking concrete and sink you in the ocean. It's that kind of world. It's do or die. But
Yeah.
sumo at least they prepare you for society, bro, and they prepare you so good that people like you. I know a kid who came to me. He's not even from my stable, but I was close to one of his senpais, and he was at a sumo stable. So he called me and said, "Oh, this kohai, he's gonna quit sumo, and he wanted to see if you could help him find him a job." So, what are you looking for? What kind of stuff you think can do? Well, one thing, I don't want to work in a restaurant. So I go, what kind? Well, I want to be like a salary man. So I thought, okay. I made a phone call. I talked to one of my friends. You know the guy who owns a UFC gym now?
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's my good friend. And well, anyway, he used to run the Shop Japan. He's the one that run it out of Aichiken. You know, the TV shopping.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Oh, the
company called
whole, that's
yeah,
huge.
the
Yeah.
company yeah, the company Auckland. So he was running that company. I called him up and bro, I got this ex sumo guy. Probably fit into what you guys do because they sell products for diet and all that. But he's not a big kid. He's a tall boy, but he's not, he's not thick and stuff. He took this kid in. I told him he's willing to learn. So he sent him to Sapporo. He did the operation, learned all the shit. In 2-3 years, he was the number one. He made he was the number one guy that makes sales in the whole company.
Wow. That's pretty
Wow.
cool.
And that's how this and that's what he told me. He said, bro, I
Yeah.
don't know what was his kid, bro, but he's always on time, focus, never say he's cannot, always moving. Then one day he called me, the boy. He called me and said, I was like, yeah, I don't want to embarrass you, but can we talk? I need to talk to you because now people like offer him bigger money to come to the companies now. Two big companies are scouting and notice this kid. So I tell him, fuck yeah. You gotta move to the next level. Somebody offer you something like you gotta go. But yeah, let's go have dinner. So I call up my friend. We went out to dinner and he said the same thing. Yeah, this is a stepping stone, bro. And I told him, bro, it's always getting better and and people notice your work. So take the flowers, brother, and just move on. So stuff like that I experience
Mm.
a lot. I can go on and on. I know a kid who only went to Makusta actually runs and owns a freaking golf course. And that's not from their family. They're not inherit the things I'm talking about. Not even people who inherit nothing. These kids come from nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just the discipline, you know, just the discipline to work hard, save the money for the next goal.
Yeah. It's like if
And
you
and
survive
it's
sumo, you can survive normal life,
exactly.
right?
So they know already. They had nothing from sumo. They had no money,
Yeah.
but they survived, right? And they knew how
It's
to
weird.
talk to people. They knew how to carry themselves in
Mm.
in certain environments that the normal salary guy don't know how to carry themselves. These guys look more experienced than all these guys. And then in anything come up, if any party comes up, all the things that you do by hands, like cooking or serving, and freaking that's freaking sumo style right there.
Yeah.
That's our whole
It's
life right there.
interesting. It's kind of interesting to compare it to like the martial arts side of it, Enson, right? Like, whereas there's aspects of that where like the hard work, the discipline, there's definitely that, right, in MMA training, but kind of the formalities that Saleh is talking about, kind of, do you think that exists in?
Well, sumo is a whole nother level of
Mm.
mannerisms, being proper etiquette. Because sumo is in such a limelight as a national sport, the sumo tories are representing Japan as a country. So if they screw
Exactly.
up even a little bit, it looks Japan look bad. Boom, they're taken out, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, sumo. I mean, as far as fighting compared to sumo, I think sumo is a much higher standard of being proper, etiquette, mannerisms. In fighting, they have it, but I think because this is not slammed into you like sumo, every day they live it. I always say in my
Yep.
seminars, it's so unfortunate that there's a lot of kids that learn so much discipline in fighting, but they cannot carry it to the outside world. It's probably because it wasn't ingrained in them like sumo does. Like you got a guy like John Jones. I mean, for him to be as good as he is, isn't just talent. It was discipline. It was the perseverance of training. But as soon as he gets outside the ring, he can't bring any of those things that he learned in the ring to the outside world, and he just fucks up outside left and right. And you know, when I hear Sale say, even somebody like Tsuyoshi, you know, his training ethic is so good. I mean, I think that there was a sumo guys that are the harsh scenario to put in right away as young kids. I mean, it's hard on them, you know, but when they come out of sumo, they know the mannerisms, they know etiquette, they know how to respect their elders, they know how to cook, they know how to clean. You know what I mean? It's
they know how to
unreal.
wash.
They do everything for the samurai. So you got Tsuyoshi wife here. He can cook for her. He can probably clean better for her. You know, I mean,
but that's for real.
Like Sale said, is sumo. Sometimes the kids go in at 15. They don't even go to school. All they know is sumo, and they get thrown out into the world. But as hard as that sounds, what Sal is just saying makes sense. You know, they're taught this whole lifestyle that's going to get them ahead in the world, which is super good.
Exactly. Man. Well, the thing is already when you can do sumo for 10 years or even 5 years, at age 15, you just committed your life. 5 years. It's like prison now. You're not even allowed to do anything outside. You got to go to sleep at 10 o'clock. You got to get up at 5 o'clock. You got to do that for 5 freaking years. Even
while you're serving your elder.
And then you're serving all these guys. You're going by the rules. You got to always look good when you walk in the train station. You got to watch what you say. You got to watch how you act. That pressure is actually, you're learning at 15. By the time you're 18, you're well behaved. You had 3 years of just training to be the best person you can be, to represent not only your stable but the association. And I always tell people, it's not a sport, it's a culture. It's a very deep culture. And the other thing I used to joke during when I do my speeches, I go, I hear a lot about ladies who want to work nowadays. Just marry a sumo wrestler. They can probably do anything but make babies.
That's true.
No, because they can cook, they can clean, they do all the chores.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's brilliant.
And I tell you, if the lady like work, let them work, and let the guy stay home. So, I guarantee you, she come home, she'll be eating the best meals.
So you mentioned your mom, right? Or your mom, I should say. She must have got the shock of her life, right? Meeting you again after. It must have felt like a different person.
She had shock after 2-3 years, bro.
Really?
She didn't know what the hell I was doing. See, the thing is, my mom and dad didn't know my phone number even till the day they passed. My dad just passed 2 years ago, but no one knew my phone number, especially my parents. And I didn't want them to know, because if they heard anything about me during my career, I guarantee you, mom going to call. So my sister, I don't think my family called me maybe once or twice when they found out I was hurt through the newspaper, because I never tell them I got hurt or whatever I go through. I never shared my physical and my mental struggles with anybody in my family. I purposely did it because, I don't know, I didn't want nobody to participate in me trying to figure out things, on my own and stuff. I made the choice to come, so I made it a purpose to me to figure out and to solve my own problems on my own and try to figure out the best I can. Yeah. So, and mom was so funny, because I tell this story too. This line is always make everybody laugh, because I made it. I was in second rank. The second year already was in the top, right? And I was getting paid. I had a monthly salary and stuff, and I was sending all my checks, my monthly checks home to her account. But after 2-3 years, every time I call home, mom would like, just come home. I was like, figuring, what the hell? I sending mom all this money, and she don't even, she don't care.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't know she wasn't going to the bank, because she didn't have money in the bank when she had an account. I found her account, but she only had, I think, by the time I knew, she had only $25 in her account, right? So I've been sending all this money to her. So one day I got real curious. I called my sister, Kahal, my younger sister. I go, Sis, can you take mom to the bank and go to and check her account? She said, "That's a long time." She go to the bank account, right? You go to the bank. The banker. My mom hardly go to the bank, and she was some lady who wears my T-shirt that is 10 times bigger than her, and it's my cut T-shirt with my face on it, and she's wearing her padel. Real some old lady, don't care. And my sister takes her to the bank. The banker comes and meet my mom in the front and takes her to the back. And my sister's trying to explain to her. I don't know. Even I don't know, mom. I don't know. So they go in the back. They look at her account. She had like 30 grand in her account. All the money I was making, I was sending to her. And my mom go, how the hell I get all this money? And then my sister, that's from Sale. That's from Sale. What the hell are you doing in Japan? Is he selling drugs? and then ever since then, and the sister explained, no, he's getting paid from Sumo, and that's all the money he's making from Sumo. So ever since after she found out that she had money in her account, every time I call, she tell me, don't come back now. And from then on, she memorized everybody's names after that.
Oh, I bet. That's so cool.
She started watching, Matt Takara's mom, Mrs. Takara. She used to call mom them and tell them when Sumo was on. She used to keep mom them on and Sumo and everything. So before mom them could watch it on TV, she would listen on Japanese radio and she would call up the old lady and say, oh, Sale want to this, Sale want to this.
Oh,
so
cool,
finally, mom, finally accepted me being here after she checked her bank account,
Money
but
talks.
that was a funny story. After she see that account, don't come back, bro. Don't come back. She used to get pissed off at me when I lose, man.
Yeah.
You know what's cool though, James? During the when I first came to Japan, Sala would invite me to places, when they would have parties at the karaoke places and the sumo junkos, and I mean, even when he invited me to go to actually watch sumo about 3 or 4 times, and I don't think I even watched sumo from the arena. I was in the back with him the whole time because had all the other sumo wrestlers, and then when I started fighting, I don't think you missed a match. He would come to every single one of my matches.
Yeah, I came to mostly all your match, and I was the one yelling, and now then
him screaming and cheering. It was unreal. He's such a big celebrity there. You figure he's a sumo, real proper, real quiet. But you could hear him. I don't know if they could understand. We could hear him saying "fuck him up," and the stuff screaming was so funny, man. But
especially
with those, that was my high, man. That was my high.
Especially with those quiet crowds, right? I'm sure it
yeah.
Well, Enson was just going into his shuto times and stuff like that, so the crowd was still, all getting into the fight. They're real quiet, yeah. So, I'm probably the only foreigner there anyway, yelling, and then my boys are all skippy toes, and then eating at the corner sometimes, But most of the time, I'm the only foreigner in the freaking stadium.
Yeah. So, were you following the scene then, Konishiki? Like while Enson was fighting, were you? I mean, obviously because sort of right when Enson's career took off, that's kind of when Japanese MMA took off.
Every fight I could go to, I went to his fights.
Yeah,
and then I just followed,
Did you ever get approached about doing a fight? I know obviously Akebono did that route. Did they ever contact you about doing anything like that at all?
During the end of my career, they kind of asked me, bro, there's a reason why I'm retiring. I almost died the last couple months of my career, and I ain't doing anything else to kind of freaking kill myself, That's a different world, bro. And I just spent 16 years of my life stressing and fighting and bleeding and breaking freaking hand, shoulders and all that shit. I'm not ready for. I'm no way I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
One of my big memories was too is as I was fighting, the sumo guys, they have the strongest legs and hips. Their koshi, their mid, the girth. They're so powerful. That would help with fighting. So I actually went and asked Sal if I could go to the stables and just train. So I actually
Yeah,
went
yeah.
in there. I put on the mawashi. I mean,
Wow.
straight up, like I got to go into the sumo ring, and I did
And
all
hit
their
and hit.
training. Oh, dude, just the warm ups. My legs were all like quivering already. My legs were so burnt from just doing the shiko. They call it the shiko. They do that. Oh my goodness, just the
Yeah.
warm ups, and my legs were just killed. It's an unreal
You-
workout, and they have this pole that they hit, and
Mm.
they just put
yeah,
on their
it's
weight and boom, and
wooden.
you can the pole goes deep into the ground, so you could feel that like a vibrating, like boom. And I started doing that, and I think after like 5-10 minutes, man, my hands started feeling all bruised.
I'm not
And
It was
surprised.
you know why you did that?
under
You know
experience.
why you did that? You know why you did that? Because you started wrestling more bigger guys that were coming from the mainland, and then you
Oh,
wanted to. And I remember you wanted to hit heavy guys. That's how come you came. You did all the
yeah,
exercise and you did a lot of buskari keiko just to hit the
yeah,
big, just to feel the weight.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember that because you wanted to feel because even the same weight, but if the guy's taller than you, they feel kind of heavier or something like that. You wanted to hit heavier people, so you did all that, and then you was doing a lot of buskari keiko. I made you do like buskari keiko more, so you get a
yeah,
feel of hitting up flesh.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, you could straight up just run full on and boom and clash with them, and these guys wouldn't move, man.
Really? Wow.
It was unreal training, and then they have the end of the practice. They kind of they kind of let you because they set up. You just go straight on, like boom. You just hit them as hard as you can,
the conditioning.
and
Yeah,
then you push them across the ring.
one time,
And then you
not only one time now.
not only one time. As soon as you get to the other side of the ring, you got to get ready for the next one. Boom, and your legs and everything's burning. And then at the end, what they'll do is they'll shift their weight over, just tap you on the side, and you go rolling in the dirt. Bro, it was crazy. I loved it though because I love that feeling of having to push yourself to a point where you cannot feel like you cannot get up anymore. But
Yeah,
I mean,
and the thing
anybody
is,
who sumo is two fat people pushing each other, man, go to their stable, watch them train. Try mixing with their training. You're gonna realize you're gonna have a lot of respect for that sport. It's like
Yeah.
they're in good shape and they're strong.
yeah, the thing is that exercise is so important because, like you said, at the end of the practice, any practice, you do the conditioning part, right? And that's the sumo conditioning. Because once you kind of your legs are wobbling, you're losing your balance, your weight are leaning too forward. That's like so easy to slap you down. So that's
Yeah,
when we know you're tired because your legs are not there, and then we force you to bring your legs up. We force you to bring your legs up, and then you know it's that's where your mind and your body starts to fight. That's why. Your mind knows your feet is not there. So what we're trying to do is actually make you realize that you can bring your feet up. Just little bit, bring it up a little more, bring it up a little more. So that's what that exercise is all about. Which is, I just took the the warriors to practice, and like the three guys that came, they're like looking at these young kids. I tell you what, the youngest boy is 15 years old. That one is 17 and 18, and you're looking at their body structure.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
And then look,
solid.
I tell, look at their legs and look at their asses. See, look at the 15-year-old kid. He just joined, so he's only been here 3 months, but he's been doing sumo since he was in third grade. So that's why he looks so sumo shaped already. Nice round ass. His legs are thick, and you can tell the way he squats, the way he does all that. And it's
Mhm.
it. And I tell everybody, any sport, do the sumo squats. It helps you for flexibility, helps your core, and it helps you balance. All these things, what sumo squat does. Because how can you imagine a guy, like me, 600 pounds, lift my legs and leave them there? People can't even lift their legs 500, 600. Regular people don't do exercise at all. Can't even step up a steps.
Hmm.
But we leave our feet up there, then we pound our feet. That's balance. And
Yeah.
if you don't have a
Yeah.
strong core, you can't hold it. So everybody think the fat is to protect us because we hit ourselves so much. But under the layers of fat is core muscle, bro.
Hmm.
Because that, and I always explain, bro, you might be fatty outside, but the most important core muscle they have is in their stomach. their back, their lower back, and their freaking gluteus maximus and their thighs. Look at it. You can tell. No matter how big the boys are, look at the gluteus maximus and shit, man. It shows you a lot.
James, when you finally come to Japan, we'll have Sale take us to a training that we can watch them train.
That would
You'll
be
be
awesome.
amazed.
I'd love
If
to.
you
Like,
see that, your whole mindset's gonna change. I guarantee you.
yeah, every time I've been to Japan 5 times, and every time I've always missed the tournament for it either wasn't on or couldn't get seats or something like
No,
that. So
more
I'm
than the
hoping
tournament, the training they go through every day.
yeah,
You
I'd
gotta
like.
see
Yeah,
I mean,
that.
hey,
training. If you get the training, training will
be
be
way more.
something to see.
Yeah, be really cool.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because you watch them train and you're like at awe at how hard they train. And then after that, they set up like a table. They make dinner or they make lunch for you. And you're like
And
a guest. So you're eating and everybody's waiting for you to eat. You're eating with the top guys and all the younger boys that pretty much could kick your ass in the ring. They're like waiting on the side, and they're huge, they're hungry, they finished training, and we're sitting there eating like, oh fuck, I want to hurry eat because they're waiting to eat because we're holding them up, and they're bringing us food, they're bringing us seconds. We're like, oh shit, I gotta eat fast because the poor guy's not eating. It's unreal. It's an amazing experience. When Sarah's family
Enson,
came down, Sally
Enson,
took the
Enson,
family.
that's where that learning I talk
Yeah,
about. They
The
yeah,
know how
discipline.
to respect. They're gonna be patient enough to wait until they guess, and that's what they call omotenashi, as you know. It's hospitality, and that's where the other stuff that they learn naturally. They guess first than anything else. After getting kicking sweaty from 6 o'clock in the morning, nothing to eat in the morning, all hungry, all tired, but see nobody hanging, cocky, stupid. Everybody's at attention. Got the out there. Ikaga desu ka? Ikaga desu ka? Every time your rice gone. Ikaga desu ka? They're already asking you already. Oh, you drink your
You know,
cup of
you know
water,
they're
the thing is gone.
they're hungry. You know they're tired. You know they eat way more than you. They're more hungry than you. But as you eat and they're standing there waiting to serve you, there is not a inch of feeling like, oh, we're making them wait. I feel that for myself, like, oh, they must be hungry. But from their side, there's no energy like that. There's absolutely no energy like, hurry up and eat. Their energy is like, what can we do for you? What else do you need? You want more food? What do you want? It's like such a good energy. It's amazing. It's something you need to experience, man.
yeah,
Anson, you got to
definitely.
tell them. You got to tell them the lunch you had with the wolf.
Yeah, we when I think when you see, I think it was the first time we brought you, yes, Sarah, to watch.
Yeah, you and Sarah
Yeah,
came.
yes,
I
I
think
asked
you had to
Solid
mix
and he took us to a stable, and then he said, "Okay, there's a bunch of stables, a Bitoi Izumi stable. You want to go to this and that?" And then he said, "Chiono Fuji. You heard of who Chiono Fuji is, yeah?"
Yeah, I have.
That
Yeah,
was that guy was like what he if I ever cheered for
He's the Michael
anyone,
Jordan.
the
Michael
Hawaii
Jordan of
boys,
Sumo.
it was Chiono Fuji. That guy was unbelievable, like good looking, built like a
Musker.
bodybuilder, strong as fuck, and real mannered. And when he said that Chiono Fuji's stable, I was like, I want to go there. And when we went there, I remember he was sitting at the front watching the kids wrestle, just quiet in like a full split.
wow.
That
Yeah.
was
He always does
real.
that.
And he doesn't talk much. He has that aura that you can feel like, oh shit. You know how sometimes you meet some people you want to meet and then there's no aura and it's like, oh shit, kind of disappointing. It wasn't disappointing at all. Like, holy shit, that's Chiono Fuji right there. It was a little bit like nervous just sitting near him. And then we go and eat and we sit next to him to eat. And with his hospitality, as great as he is, he's serving. Like I told Sarah, oh my God, Chiono Fuji gave me curry rice. He like brought food. He gave me food. He's asking me how I eat. And I'm like, holy shit, this is unreal. I mean, I think, Sale, at the time we went there, he already had cancer, yeah?
Yeah. He was hiding it, I guess, and he knew kind of already.
Yeah.
But
So
that's the kind of guy he was, and I was very fortunate to be around him a lot because of after I beat him, he was already pissed off. He wanted to kill me. So, and this is one of the stories that they talk about a lot, because a grand champion don't really go and practice in other people. Other people go to his place and practice. Because of that last tournament we talked about earlier, the last Kuromai Kogigan tournament that I wrestled, I beat him and Takano Sato. So after that match, he never missed coming practice with me. He came to practice with me and he threw the shit out of me all over. But the thing I'm proud of, I'm the only guy actually in all those practice sessions that won his ass too. So, maybe 2 out of 10 he beat me up, but two, I got two. Everybody else get nothing, man. And I was always tell people I'm glad, because I wrestled with the best. That's, I guess, it made me just better. Somebody big at me. I'm wrestling the fastest guy, the most best technique guy, and if I beat him one or two times out of 10 times, I'm doing pretty well, bro. So yeah, that's the kind of guy he was. I still remember he invited me to one of his kids' birthday, and I was surprised. I thought people. It was only me, his wife, his kid, and one of my good friends, my friend from London. And we were just there, just us privately,
Yeah, I heard
Even
that.
when he
I heard
passed
that
away,
story.
I was
I
shocked when
heard
he
that.
passed away, bro.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, me too, man. That was such a bummer. But
So I
I
went,
was shocked when I heard about that story about after he lost to you, he went to your stable to train with you. I was like, oh, what a humble guy, man. Amazing, man.
yeah,
No
bro.
pride, no ego.
So Enson, the funny thing was when somebody beat him good during a tournament, bro, you better watch. He come with vengeance to doing our tours, because that's when we practice all the top travel together and train, right? Bro, you better make sure, you better be ready, because he's gonna pull you out of the crowd and actually only train with you. He would bust you
Wow.
up in the front of everybody.
Wow.
And
Straight
that
up
was funny because
warrior, yeah, that guy.
bro, it's like mental toughness. There's nothing. He don't run away from the problem. He goes to the problem, bro.
Yeah, that's unheard.
Amazing, amazing. Just to see that.
That's
Yeah.
a true warrior.
And you, like you said, the aura he had, bro. When he walked
Yeah,
in,
no, he had
man,
a
everybody had to sit up, man. Yeah, the wolf is here, bro. Taiso,
yeah,
everybody used to
Sarah
call.
had no idea who she was having the opportunity to meet.
Yeah, that. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, man, that was
Yeah, and
unreal,
then
man.
and then and even experienced it when Sarah brought her people, from New Zealand to Musashigawa stable too. That
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
that's an experience that it's hard to get. I always tell people, and I think that's why it's so high in a lot of people's itinerary, to find a way to go to sumo, because you cannot get it, And then for me, I'm fortunate to be that bilingual person that everybody calls. "Hey, can we do this? Can we do that?" If you're nice enough, I do them. But if I have no freaking interest in you, you ain't getting shit, bro. I ain't doing nothing for nothing.
Hey, Sale, I heard that you're starting the sumo exhibitions up again, yeah, throughout the states like that.
Yes, I'm going to San Francisco, Seattle, and LA in November.
Wow, right
The
on. All
weekend.
right.
So I leave on the 15th. I just posted something on Facebook. I just put
Yeah,
together the picture
Sarah,
of the guys I'm taking with me. So yeah, and during this pandemic, I've been trying to research on sumo, and you'd be amazed. I've been like freaking out on how popular sumo is all over, man. Bro, you get sumo clubs all over US. Then you have like a war going on in Russia, but Russia has a sumo tournament almost every week,
wow.
Wow.
and well organized in Russia, Poland, Czechoslovakia. Um, in fact, Ukraine has a amateur sumo team that came to Japan like a
What
month
about
ago.
the UK? What about the UK?
Yeah.
The UK has. In fact, I just
No
did
way.
a UK a Zoom. There's a guy that knows sumo so good. We just did a Zoom last week. It's him in UK and Australia. There's another guy. So we did like something like this for his podcast.
Nice.
Well, if you ever go
Yeah,
to
this
UK, you gotta get James to go check it out.
I will
Bro,
100% be there, and I'll show you all the
it's
shit
it's
things about
it's
England.
it's amazing how popular it is. And then I don't know. I just did that run project, that masterclass sumo, where you download and I teach about what sumo is all about. I use X to do the basic exercise. You can actually learn from it. It's nalo.tv/sumo. You click on it and you have to download it. It's a class. You know how people do like cooking classes and stuff.
Mm.
Well, I just did that, a master class. And it's funny because I'm doing so much things with sumo outside of Japan. The interest is more out there than here.
Yeah.
And I have a trip actually, probably heading to Saudi Arabia to do
Wow.
a sumo thing out there too. So this tour we have probably 18 shows we're doing in California. I mean San
Wow.
Francisco, Seattle, and LA.
Just in
Like 3
California.
weekends. Just to California, I told him I ain't going to the East Coast, bro. I think it's good. I had a pretty tough 40. This year was kind of a lot of work with me putting together that 40th anniversary stuff I was doing. It's a lot of work, and then I was so tired from it. Finally, just recuperating from all that. It's like 7, 8 months into planning and making sure it came out. So I told him, yeah, what we should do is just take advantage of what we do and get footage and some good filming of what we do this next in November, and then use that because they wanted me to go on a 9 state, go for 9 states and do it at that, bro. Ain't ready for that yet. That's cool down. But what I was trying to do here too is actually do go out and make sumo guys try out for this sumo team, or I was gonna call it sumo something, because now people are asking for it a lot. You have guys who's doing Keanu Reeves movies. The guy who I'm taking to Tashiro actually is in a movie with Keanu Reeves and stuff. But I had guys after I did a documentary last year for Europe. I don't know. It was Lock 10 TV Giants, and it was like the #1 sports documentary last summer
Nice.
in all of Europe. It's called Giants. Well directed from a director down from New York and stuff. So that came out. Now the Nalo TV team came out. Now this tour is going on, and I actually sat down with some directors and some people who they said that they got the okay from the Sumo Association to actually film a whole year of episodes on Sumo next year. So I told them I don't want to be the talent. I don't want to be the person that you guys focus on, but I can help you guys. I'll be more like help you guys produce it and stuff. So that's around the corner too. A lot of sumo stuff coming out. And then the thing is, it wasn't for Corvette. We had some people set up that wanted actually to do a reality. You know how UFC does that
Yeah,
reality show where everybody lives the
that
same.
would have been interesting.
Yeah. We wanted to actually do something exactly like that, and actually bring guys that are kind of good, and then look around the world and bring them to Japan and actually live sumo life. The
That
whole
would be
life. Like lights go off at 10, you up at 6 training, you gotta cook, and then you're not allowed to, you gotta go by the rules and shit and see how much people can last.
That would be
And
awesome,
then actually
TV.
make that reality TV. And the thing is, I wanted to grow my talent. I wanted to make sure I train these guys to where they have sumo form and do sumo, not wrestling. Some of the guys, they just freaking grab and try to pull. So the thing was to actually, I caught a few stables because we were ready to actually rent out stables that are not used anymore and make that as a studio.
what
So,
happened with that?
well, because of Corvette, we couldn't get guys to come in, but we started the conversation up again. I had a meeting with some guys last week, and that's something I
Yeah,
wanted to do. So
That's a
I
really
remember
cool
it'd
you
be
concept.
very
told me about
interesting.
it before COVID. I remember I was saying, "Holy, that's going to be awesome." And then because COVID had, I think you never said anything about it after that.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it because of the success of the Giants documentary. They showed it in Hawaii. The guy Channel 4. Channel 4 bought the rights to it. So Channel 4 is the only one actually in the US who could show it.
I think it played
It
when I
showed
was
in
in
Hawaii.
Hawaii. I did watch a part of it.
Yeah, it showed twice in Hawaii.
Okay.
So that was a success. So the same people, the directors who did that, are like really into. They were really interested because I told them the idea, and if we had like a tryout for all these amateur guys from high school to college to come up, because I wanted the real guys that did sumo to actually train the foreigners that come in, or even some ex-sumo guys who are shaping enough or physically um, ready to train. I wanted them to be the oyakatas and stuff like that. I was like, I don't want to be part of the scene. I want to be the backside and produce. And then ex-sumo guys who cannot sumo but they are good cooks, I was going to make them the sumo cooks. They train the guys who have to go cook have to learn from them, right? Cooking. So everything is actually taught directly from ex-sumo guys. And that's what I was trying to do, put it together. And it works perfect because now all we have to do is trying to build the characters in this and I told him it's a real reality show. Like this, we're gonna have rules like UFC is more like all freelance, you can act stupid on it.
Yeah.
But sumo is everything is about respect, the culture of sumo. So they're gonna find especially the foreigners will have a very hard time getting used to that. When somebody walk in, they gotta stand up and eyes off. Everything is like eyes off. Let's see how much they can handle. Just that alone is probably a struggle and then when they get up in the morning, they're all gonna be sleeping off tongues. So nobody leaves their tongues hanging out. They have to fold everything and make it clean, put it away, then make sure they wash their face, brush their teeth, and then go to practice. So if practice is at 6 o'clock, you better get up at 5:30 because you cannot be late. And they tell you if it's 6 o'clock, you got to be 10 minutes early at the least.
It's crazy. That'd be awesome.
Good TV.
So Enson, just think about it. This thing teaches the people. To me, it teaches a lot of people about Japan and why everything is so on time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It's more than
The
just
reason
sumo.
for that is and Enson, because we live here long. The reason why they do that is because they respect the person. They don't want to be the person that troubled the person who is part of the whole team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know how they say "mea kakitakunai," right? You know how that is. They don't want to make trouble for you. So you creating a problem is something that they all try not to do.
Yeah.
So that's why being early, making sure you clean everything. Because in sumo, one guy screw up at that level, everybody's getting scolding. Everybody get punished.
Oh no.
Yeah, because everybody's same level. So that's why it's so important that they're all on the same number. So I think the challenge itself is not the physical. I know they're gonna get their ass kickers because none of them do basic exercises. They all just go and put on their belt and they're ready to bang heads. So I know already when they just the practice itself, this guy's gonna die. They ain't gonna handle practice at all. They think that you freaking put on the march and bang heads and hit each other for 1 hour and then do those fake squats they do. I watch all of them. But the only thing I'm happy about, they're interested in sumo. I will be there to help them develop to get better if they want my help. So I'm just happy that they have some interest in sumo because that's the base. But if they all can actually dig a little bit more into it and better themselves at it, everybody gets good at it. And it makes it even more popular.
Nice. We better start wrapping this episode up because we're nearly 90 minutes and I think the recording switches off at 90 minutes. So.
Oh really?
I think so. Yeah. We lost track of time, man. It's an awesome conversation.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Well, you got two guys who experience so much shit, can go forever and talk, man.
I know.
There's so much shit that we both experience and try to bounce off of each other. We're at each other here, and which is and I'm just grateful that we still, after our careers, we're still participating in our sport in a certain way. He's actually training Tsuyoshi And actually, a lot of guys still look up to me. I'm glad that I can still hang out with all these young guys and be a big brother and be some kind of help to them. And even for me, it's not the physical part that I worry about these kids. It's about the mental part, their hearts, yeah, and see if
Yep.
their heart and their minds can come together because they're already. I always tell them, bro, you guys are already doing things. It's not easy, just being away from your family. This COVID thing, you're the only bunch of people that have not even left their homes yet. And every time there's a tournament, you guys not allowed to do anything. This week is the last week was the last week you guys can do anything. Now this week on, you guys have to be more cautious of where you go now. And I tell you, and you guys tough. I'm amazed that you never run away. I talk to the kids like that.
Yeah.
So I tell you guys have a good thing. You just hang in there. You gotta go all the way. If you make it as a top record, you made it. But to me, if you put everything you can in there, 5, 6 years, 7, no matter, and you put everything you can, it's gonna make you a better person when you walk away. And it's been
Yep.
proven by many ex-sumo wrestlers, and that's the great thing
100%.
about sumo is they prepare you for the real world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really like self-made. They don't really need you. They can do anything on their own. I mean, to survive.
Yeah. No, it was super cool to just hear all about how sumo has sculpted your whole life, right? It's crazy to see that. But I think that the thing that stuck with me the most is what you said actually was it wasn't so much the career, it was the people along the way that really, that's what you look back on when you look back on your whole like 40 years in
Yeah,
Japan
man,
and
it's
stuff. So that's,
like anything else, man. People that all the little memories you have kind of help you direct your focus and your strength and everything to your career. It was hard this time. You just couldn't be focused because distractions.
yeah.
Your friends here and there, your family here and there, and you know all the little moments you get to speak to people and get a bunch of great people surround you as you go in your career, and a bunch of guys who rip you off during your career. It's
Right.
it's life, and it's
Yeah.
it's it's life learning, and it's all good. It's all good, and the thing I learned from sumo, no matter what, is, and I learned how to work. When I get hit by all this BS and get ripped off, I don't even think I get ripped off. I just told them, well, I made the choice to help them. So what the hell?
Yeah.
But
You
I know
guys are
how to work.
similar and
I know how to work. I know how to make money. Just work. What the hell? I don't ask for much. Me and Enson is probably the only people that work our asses off and walk around with t-shirts and shorts all our lives. People.
True.
Yeah, for real. Like I only wear shirt and stuff when I have to, but most of the time I go t-shirt and shorts, and they can say, "Oh, you okay or what?"
Slippers.
Yeah, yeah, and then and I tell them, "Well, I'm all good. I got enough to handle. I don't have to tell you how much I have or much I need. I'm right here. Like yes, today we talked about that about athletes, how much they're getting paid nowadays. You notice that a lot of athletes are becoming billionaires when they are playing sports now. Like
mm,
Yeah.
the motivation is it's not money anymore, and the money. It's good to have all the money, but it feels just like paper already, just plain paper. Because the guys who have all this money, the way they carry themselves, because they have money, is like takes away from there's the way the aura, that aura that, like you talk about Chono Fuji, he's not getting billions, but
Yeah.
you walk in there like he's a trillionaire. You know what I mean? So now
Yeah.
everybody has a price now. When you look at athletes, oh, bro, he's getting paid 20, $30 million a year or $200 million a year. So it's funny because my friend
Yeah.
told me, "Hey, well, how do you think?" I thought, well, no matter. I can be a guy who only make $10 a month, and the guy makes what a few $100 million a month. It doesn't matter what you get. If we still breathing in the same air, you can have
Yeah.
20 cars. I have one car, but we
Keep it
still
real.
gonna
We
get
just
where
keep
I
it
want to
real.
go.
Never forget where we came from.
Yeah, exactly. Like how much do you need? They always tell you, bro, when you die, you're not gonna take all that shit with you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think there's almost
I
time
know
to
it's
enter.
just trying to understand how people that the mindset has changed, because when you look at athletes now, it's everything. Oh, he's getting paid this much. He's freaking wearing gold watches. You know, it's the material side of the athletic world is so big now. And I noticed when I
It's
went to the game, they're very protected of all the players. Like, you cannot get hurt, but athletes, you go and get hurt no matter what. You know, don't overprotect these guys, because, like, I think they just overprotect. You should see the security. Wow, I'm talking about not in Japan. Nobody gonna rush these players, bro.
I think a lot of these sports athletes now, they don't have the proper guidance, and without the proper guidance, fame and money can take you in a different direction.
Yeah, that's what I
I've
feel. And that's every time you look at, wow, he's badass. You know, like if you talk like Michael Jordan, or you talk about Mike Tyson, or Muhammad Ali, guys that era of athletes, people talk about the skills more than how much money they have, right?
True.
Well, now, like, oh, bro,
you're
I
right.
got to deal
That's
with
you're
Nike,
right.
$1 billion.
Floyd
And then,
Mayweather, all he talks about how much money he makes.
yeah, he came here and just at that age, flew around with a fighter and make $20 million, just that easy.
Mm.
Like, and the thing is, the sad thing about the whole thing is the population is buying into it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Mm.
youngsters,
Yeah.
is all about the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When they think a career is money,
yeah.
which
That's the
is
whole
all
movement
right.
now.
It's,
Disappointing.
mo- it's, it's money and like numbers and views and
Even the
Yeah,
social
like,
media
UFC,
followers.
the way they're selling fighters now, it's all about the fighters that can make money. It's not much
Yeah.
about ability, but money, money. Who can sell tickets?
yeah, it's just like, it's funny. I was watching this one YouTube thing, and the guy go, I offer you $1 million, and then I offer you 1 million likes. Which do you take? She said she take the likes. So you have a different generation. It's not money anymore. It's how popular you can get now. You can be a TikTok star. You can be a YouTube star. Like, listen, bro, we almost died doing our career, and we got to work so hard to get who we are today. Which is, I love it the way we did it. I wouldn't do it any different, bro.
Yeah, I
That's
think it's
awesome.
different. Good though, man.
Now you get people people so popular on freaking on a world circuit that, wow, what these guys do, and you find out, oh yeah, that girl just screwed almost every top athlete and became famous.
No
Big claim
shit.
to
How's
fame.
that for a new world, bro?
Yeah.
Unreal, man.
Enson, do you want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, well, thanks, Solid. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank
It
you
was
so much.
awesome.
I'm glad. Thank you for inviting me, man. I'm ready
It
to
was,
do part 2 anytime you're ready, bro. You know how it
Definitely.
is. We got so much stories, bro.
yeah, we
And
do.
the
Maybe
thing is,
we gotta do this again for sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
next one we can do in person or something. Maybe next we'll link something up
yeah,
when I come down. That'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
exactly.
Let's do that.
We do.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
We'll do it at a barbecue.
Yeah. I get so
We'll do it
envious
with
when I
the
see
smell.
Enson at your barbecues.
Well, I just did my last big barbecue event this past weekend, so I just doing the private one this weekend. That's it. It's done. My
Yeah.
Yeah.
barbecues, when I do big ones, man.
But yes,
I just love fire, and I love to cook for people, and especially barbecue. I love the heat, and everybody always laughs at me because I'm sitting right by the fire. They look at me. I got burns on my leg, and I don't feel it because that's how long I sit in front of fires, and they don't. I numb already. I don't feel some of them sometimes.
yeah. So James,
I've
when you
been
come
doing
to
it as a
Japan,
kid.
we'll do that for sure. We'll have like a barbecue and
Definitely.
hang out and maybe do a live
Live
podcast with
podcast.
Konishiki with live.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Solid,
that would be
coming,
cool.
man.
Any before we get out of this, Sally, any quick things you want to plug? Anything you want to promote?
Well, just if you know who I am, it's good. If you don't know, then I have this masterclass thing. If you guys check it out, And if you're in the States, we are coming to the U.S. on the West Coast, San Francisco. It's the second week of November. We start the weekend, and then we go into Thanksgiving in Seattle. Then the following week in LA. So, and just go to sumoandsushi.com. Yeah, you can get all the information there. And then nalo.tv Sumo is that masterclass. You probably see a lot of stuff that we talked about today, but even more. It's a 3-hour course. Check it out. You can learn more about the world I was in, the sumo world.
James can put those links up on the bottom, yeah.
They'll be in the description.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So thank you for having me. I'm your one-stop sumo shop, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah, well,
Thanks,
awesome.
Sally. Right on, man. We'll see you.
Thanks,
See you
everybody.
soon. All right, that was an awesome podcast. Wow, over 90 minutes. We probably could have gone on for 2 hours. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Right on. Thank you.